In today's video, we are going to talk about 20 incredibly useful Canva tips and tricks for YouTubers so you can make amazing looking graphics, thumbnails, or videos quickly and easily for your YouTube channel. So let's get started right away and let's talk about tip number one, which is Canva allows you to save your brand colors, logos, and fonts in the brand kit. So if I click on brand kit, you can see here that I can save my logos and my brand colors. Now I have a paid for version of Canva, so I paid to add my brand logos, also my fonts and colors. Now, if you want the free version, I think you can save up to 3 brand colors. So let's say I wanted to add another color, I would just come over here. Let's say I want this purple. Now, anytime I go and create a design, this purple will be available to me. Same thing with my fonts and same thing with my logo. The next useful tip is the ability to add grid lines to your canvas. So I'm in a canvas right here. If I go to File, Show Rulers, now it brings up this ruler, and if I click up here and drag, I can add grid lines to my canvas. And this is useful if you know where you want to put specific items within your canvas. So I'm just going to add a couple grid lines here, and I'm going to show you how we're going to use this in a second. Another useful tip is the single key shortcuts. So for instance, if I'm on here and I just want to create a rectangle, instead of having to go all the way over here, I just go here, hit R, and now all of a sudden I have a rectangle, and I can size this rectangle however I want. If I want another one, hit R. Now if I want to create a circle, I can hit C. If I want to text, I can hit T, and that'll bring up the text box. Or if I want to do lines, I can hit L, and that'll bring up a line. So that is a really helpful way to speed up your workflow, is to use single key shortcuts. To show you the other cool tips and tricks for Canva, I'm going to create the actual thumbnail for this video. So the next tip we're going to talk about is the line style. So I want to create a line border around my thumbnail here. So I'm going to hit L for line, and it's going to bring up this line. Now the first thing I want to do is change the color to my branded color. So I'm going to come down here and make it this gray. Now you can see right here there are different weights, so we can increase the weight. There's different line styles. We can have a dotted line, or we can have this line here, which I'm going to use this rounded one. And then right here there are different elements that you could add to the beginning of the line. So if I wanted an arrow, add that. Or if there's different elements you can add to the end of the line. So like say if I wanted that, but I don't want a box, let me just make this bigger so you can see it. Right here, this is the beginning of the line, at the end of the line, but I don't want any of that. So let me delete this and start over. Hit L, make it a little bit bigger, change the color, and then I'm just going to create a border around my thumbnail. So you can see right here, I already drew the grid line, so I know exactly how I want it. All right, the next tip is I want to add a picture of myself, and Canva makes it really easy to add images. So instead of having to go over here and go uploads, all you need to do is drag a photo or a picture onto the canvas and it automatically adds it. So that is another cool feature. Now the next tip I want to show you is how to remove backgrounds. This is very popular in YouTube thumbnails, and Canva makes this really easy. You don't need an expensive program like Photoshop to do this. So to remove the background, all I need to do is select this, go to Effects, and click Background Remover. And you can see it does a really nice job of removing the background. In something like Photoshop, trying to get this hair, my crazy hair, would take a long time, but Canva does a really nice job. Another great function of Canva is the ability to easily zoom in and out. Now before, if I wanted to see my hair, I would have to come down here and hit zoom and then select my percentage. But instead, if I hit Control button and I scroll, you can see that it scrolls in. Now if I scroll out, hit Control, it'll scroll out. Now another way you can do this is to hit Control and hit minus to zoom out, or plus to move in, and this just gives you a little bit finer control. Another useful feature, if I wanted to duplicate myself, the typical way would be you would right click, you'd go copy, then you would go right click paste, and it would create another version of this. But an easier way is hit Control D and it creates another, or if you want, you can hit Alt and it creates a duplicate. So that's a really quick way to duplicate images on Canva. One of the things you see in a lot of YouTube thumbnails is the person outlined in either white or black, and we can do this really easily in Canva. So to do this, I just choose my image, so choose an image of me, go to Effects, scroll down here, hit Glow, and then once you do that, you can see that it has these little sliders, which means that you can edit this even more. So I'm going to click on it again, and it brings up these 3 sliders. So I want to make the transparency 100%. I'm going to change it to white. So let's just do this, slide this all the way up to white, and I'm going to no blur, and then I can just make it as big or as small as I want. So I probably want something like that. And that is how easy it is to create that outline around yourself. And then all I have to do is hit apply. Hey, if you're getting any value from this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let's continue on. All right, another thing you can do with your images is you can add drop shadows. So I'm gonna select this, go back to Effects, and then come down here and I'm going to do drop. And then you can see here it adds a little bit of a drop shadow to my picture. Now again, it has these little sliders, so if I click on it again, you can see that I can play around with it. I can make it really large. I can change the angle of it. I can change the transparency. So for this, I'm going to make it like that. I'm gonna blur it a little bit like that, just to add some dimension to this picture. And then let's change the offset to right there. So it just adds a little bit more dimension to my photo here. And that is another thing you can do with Canva really easily, is add these drop shadows. So if I just hit apply, I'm all set. Another great feature of Canva is it allows you to search for commonly used branded logos. So if I go up to Elements and I search for Canva, you can see here it comes up with the Canva logo. Same thing if I wanted to do Amazon, or if I wanted to do Facebook. But since this is a Canva video, I'm going to do Canva. So let's search on Canva and let's take this, drag it over here, and I wanted it to be in this corner. And let's make this in the back. So position, backward, so it's in the very back. So that is another great feature of Canva, is it quickly and easily allows you to search for commonly used logos. If you've been using Canva for any time, you know that sometimes to click and move an object can be a little frustrating. So for instance, if I want to click on this Canva, I have to try to click it and move it, but I typically have an issue where I'm moving the larger. So the Canva makes it easy to select hard to reach objects. All you need to do is hit Control and then click, and right now you can see it highlights this, and now I can just move this out of the way. So that's an easy way to select objects that are really hard to get to. This is a new feature that allows you to add different borders and frames around your photos. So this one, I want to add the YouTube logo within a computer frame. So if I click on this image here and go to Effects, I can go to Frames. And if I see all, you can see that I can add this neon pink around there, this turquoise, but I want to add a laptop. So I'm going to select on the white laptop, and you can see that it puts the YouTube logo within this white laptop. Another way that you can do this, let me just delete this, is if I go right here and I go to Elements and I search on Frames, you can see these are different frames that you can add. So for instance, if I wanted this laptop, all I would do is drag it over to the screen and then go back to my photos and drag this. Anything within that, let me redo that. All of this right here, the blue and the green, can be replaced with an actual photo. So I'm going to drag this over here. Now, if I want to move this within it, all I need to do is double click it, and then I can move the actual photo within that frame. So that is a really nice way that you can add frames around your different photos. Canva has some really nice text effects that you can add to your graphic design. So you can see right here, yes, I changed my background already and I've started to add some text, but let me finish this. And I'm going to hit T for text. And then it is 20 Canva tips. I want it to be capitalized, tips and tricks. All right. And I have it in my default font, so I want to move it over here. And I want it to be similar to this Canva here with the drop shadow. So I'm going to move it over here. And I am going to change the font color to this color here. And then I'm going to select effects. And I'm going to go to shadow. But you can see there's lift, there's echo. So let me just show you what some of these look like. There's echo, there's neon. But I'm going to go with shadow. And I want the drop shadow to be white. And I want it to be full transparency, actually not transparent at all. And then I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. And then I'm just going to make it a little bit larger. All right. And then, oh, I forgot 4. So let's hit enter and just hit 4 for YouTube. So move this around. Make it a little bit smaller actually so it fits. And then one of the nice features about Canva as well, which I didn't discuss, is it has these little guides. So right here you saw that, so it's centered under the YouTube. So that is text effects. The next trick I want to show you is how to group elements. And as you can see, I already changed the color of my font, but I want all of these to be grouped together. So if I ever were to change the sizing and the proportion, I want to change them all together and not just individually. Select this all and hit group. And now if I were to select all of this, this is one big group, which is what I want. So, and then I also want to send this to back because I don't want this being in front of the line. So let's keep sending this back to back. All right. And then I want this Canva to be in the very back. There we go. So that is how you can group elements. The next tip I want to show you is that now that you have a group of objects together, you can resize them proportionately. So for instance, this is all one group, but if I want to make this whole group smaller, I can just take it, drag it like this. I can make it small, I can make it large, and it keeps the original dimensions. So that is how you can take a group and resize them proportionately. So let me just back this out. And there we go. Now that we have our thumbnail pretty much done, let me just show you some other tips. Now the next one is to add a QR code if you wanted to your thumbnail. So you would come over here, and if you don't have QR code, you would go to more and it would be right here, QR code. So if I add that, then all I would do is add in the URL that I want this QR code to direct me to. So I'll add my website here, hit generate code. And then if I wanted to, I could put that anywhere in my thumbnail if I wanted to, but I generally don't see these in thumbnails. But if you were to create like a PDF, a handout, or anything else, you can add a QR code to your design. Another useful tool, if let's say this is my standard thumbnail design and I want someone else to be able to edit this or change this, I can share this with other people. And the way to do that is you go up to share, and then you would just type in the email address of someone that you would want to share this. So let me show you how this works. So if I type in an email address here, type in mine, and then I can set the permissions here, edit or only view. So let me just say edit, and then let me send. And then I'll show you what that looks like in the email. So right here is the email that I received. If I hit open in Canva, it'll take me into Canva and I can now edit this. All right, now that I have this thumbnail all done, I want to be able to download it and upload it to YouTube. So the next tip is when you go to download, there's different things, different file formats that you can use. You can use a PNG, a JPEG, PDF, SVG, or an MP4, and we're going to go into that in the last tip. But for YouTube thumbnails, I like high quality. But for YouTube thumbnails, I find that the JPEG works just fine. So I'm going to hit JPEG. I'm going to keep it at its size, 1280 by 720. I'm going to keep it at a high quality. Since it's a JPEG, it'll be smaller than a PNG, and I'm going to hit download. And then once it's done, I can upload it to YouTube. All right, for the last tip, I want to show you how to create video files. Now, throughout this video, you've seen my different tips and you've seen this animated graphic coming up. So let me show you how I made this. So for the last one, we're going to make it number 20, tip number 20, animating graphics. And all I did was added the text and I added the Canva logo here. But to animate it, all I do is I come up to here, and right here it would say effects, but I already have it at rise. So if I were to play this, you can see what it looks like. And right here is where the different effects are for animation. So if I click on this, you can see that there's none. There's blocks. Let me show you what that looks like. There's breathe, fade, and you can go through the different animations, but the one I'm using is rise. And that's how it looks. And when you first have it started, it usually has it at 5 seconds. And if you want to change that timing, all you do is click on edit timing, and you can use the slider here, or you can just type it in. So let me type it in. I have this at 2 seconds and hit done. Now, if I wanted to, I can also add another slide after this. So if I add a page here, and let's just say I have, a thumbs up right here. And I want this to be come in as like a stop. And I want this to be 1 second, let's just call it. Now my full video, if I go back to the original slide, if I hit play, it's at 3 seconds. 2 seconds for this, and then 1 second for this. So let me show you what that looks like. So I have that, and then I have that. So that's my video, and you can continue to add as many frames, because that's what this really is, because it's a video. You can add as many pages or frames as you want. And then once you're done, you just hit download video, and then you download the MP4. So I'm going to delete this. Let's just delete this right here. I'm going to download this, and you will probably already saw this before this tip. Canva is a great tool, especially if you are a YouTuber. You can do your thumbnails like we did in this, and you can do some graphics, you can do text, you can do whatever you want. But if you want to learn how you can use Canva to do video intros and outros, then go watch that video right there. And I show you exactly how to use this tool to create very nice looking intros and outros to your YouTube video. Go check that out. I'll see you over there. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.